There are a massive number of celebrities who appeared in the Barbie movie. Is it really that surprising that some people weren't living their Barbie dream life on set? Welcome to Beyond the Screen, I'm Nate, and today these are the top 10 Hollywood celebrities who hated working on the Barbie movie. Number 10. Issa Rae. Issa is just one of the many people who plays the iconic doll in this film. She's a welcome addition to the cast, and she is no stranger to the world of comedy, having starred and written in a very popular sketch series called A Black Lady Sketch Show. When she was asked to participate in the movie, she was beyond excited. As the process went on, she was reading with other potential cast members, during which time she finally realized that she would not be the only Barbie in the movie. Initially, she was under the impression that she was going to be the leading lady of Greta's flick, but discovered that she was just going to be one of several other actors set to portray variants of the character. As production began, her enthusiasm dropped hard. Imagine thinking that you're playing a lead character only for someone to come on set one day and say, "Alright guys, make room for the lead." No, I'm not talking about you. As a result, her time on set was stressful and slightly upsetting. But she didn't want to back out entirely and ventured on to make her mark in the Barbie world. Number 9. Ryan Gosling. This Canadian treasure has been acting since his mid-teens in a little show called Goosebumps. I'm not sure why so many studios made horror-themed kids shows, but they did, and we watched them and loved them all. His career has been going strong since starring in The Notebook, but he's been thrust back into the mainstream thanks to his turn as the leading Ken in Barbie. While he enjoyed his overall time on set, cause hey, he was the lead, he was being fed grapes by a PA getting paid nothing. One thing that was difficult according to Ryan though was learning how to skate for this movie. There are several scenes with Ryan having to rollerblade, a skill that he did not possess in real life. That's right, some Canadians can't skate, and I'm one of them. The director Greta Gerwig wanted to have as few stunt people on set as possible, so she tasked Ryan with taking a crash course in skating. Despite working hard for almost a month, he wasn't able to get to that smooth Olympic skate style that he was aiming for, and according to several reviews, Ryan's skating is pretty dreadful in the movie. This was a lot of pressure for Ryan on set, having to try and try again during takes, falling over and over again. His time on set was spent in fear of disappointing Greta and the rest of the crew, and unfortunately it looks like he was right to be nervous. Number 8. John Cena. In 2002, John Cena first rapped his way to the ring, becoming one of the most popular superstars in the WWE. John was a wrestler for many years, and I personally grew up watching this dude throw people through tables and wave his hand in front of his face. John had a massive fan base that were stoked to see that he was slowly making a transition from just wrestling to acting in big budget projects. While he had some straight to video projects as well as a few small roles in movies here or there, it wasn't until 2018 that he would cement himself as a Hollywood heavyweight. After starring in the comedy Blockers, as well as the surprisingly entertaining Transformers prequel Bumblebee, it was clear that John was going to be around for a long time. Recently, he's been trying to make a move to the more action-packed side of comedy, starring as the titular Peacemaker in an HBO series based on his performance in the 2020 DC movie called The Suicide Squad. When it was announced that John would be appearing in the Barbie movie, fans were pretty curious. Why was he taking time away from his action-packed movies and to star in this lighthearted comedy about a doll come to life? Well, it turns out that he just needed a break from all the physically demanding stunts that he was doing on other projects. In fact, John hated working on the set of Barbie because he had simultaneously been filming a role alongside action movie legend Jackie Chan, and according to John, the demanding stunts combined with a need to be on the same level as Jackie caused his body to ache constantly. In between takes on set, John had to sit in a little chair while sipping a freshly blended protein smoothie. Ugh, that sounds gnarly. Number 7. Helen Mirren. Helen has been starring in silver screen darlings since the mid-1970s and has continued to deliver stellar performances to this day. She plays the role of the narrator in the Barbie movie and does an incredible job doing so. She's able to engage the audience despite not actually physically being on screen, which was her biggest problem with the movie. In an original draft of the script, the end of the movie would have seen Helen physically on screen reading a Barbie book to her granddaughter, pegging the entire movie as simply a woman giving her grandkid a nice bedtime story. Honestly, I'm pretty glad that that was not the ending of this movie because it was just a story trope is just really old and played out, and this movie is so unique, it would have been a cop-out of an ending. Unfortunately, the news that the ending would be changed upset Helen as she was excited to be a physical part of the film. To help her feel better though about her role, Greta invited her to take a tour on the set and get a first-hand look at what she was narrating. The more times she visited the set, the more accepting she was of not being in the movie, but still being a vital part of the story. Number 6. Simu Liu. A few years ago, Simu Liu was just a guy working on a Canadian sitcom that had a massive fan base. Thanks to one tweet, 8, he was thrust into the role of Shang-Chi, Marvel's first solo superhero movie featuring an Asian lead. The movie received massive success at the box office and launched Simu into a new career. And it's well earned, because this guy is genuinely the sweetest dude in the world. I used to work at a movie theater and I watched this man get surrounded by fans, and all he did was smile, stand there, and ask them to make a line. He literally took a picture with every single person and said hi that was in that line. This dude is just awesome. I mean, he just wanted to see Rocket Man, so that was nice of him to stop by and say hello. It appears that joy and charm translates to his time on set as well. According to Simu, he was barely able to keep it together around his co-star Ryan Gosling. The pair spent a large amount of screen time together, but that surely doesn't begin to compare to the amount of behind-the-scenes footage that surely exists. Simu was initially excited to simply be a part of this awesome movie, but was even more excited when he made a new friend. According to Greta Gerwig, they broke character a lot and would make each other laugh to the point where they needed to take regular 10-minute breaks to let them get their composure together. This may be the first time these two work together, but hopefully it will not be the last. Number 5. Michael Cera. Michael Cera was a busy man between 2000 and the mid-2010s, starring in critically acclaimed comedies and dramatic flicks like Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, Superbad, and Juno. Following a brief break from acting, Michael has been making a return to the big screen, adding Barbie to his list of accomplishments, playing the much forgotten about Barbie doll companion, Alan, a doll that was produced by Mattel for only 1 year in 1964 before being pulled off of shelves because for some reason kids just didn't like him. When Michael accepted the role in Barbie, he was under the impression that he was going to be a Ken like the rest of the guys on set, but instead he was given a unique role as the misunderstood Barbie buddy. His time on set was a mixed bag of emotions. At first, he was super upset at having to play a character that was literally cancelled before canceling was even a thing. It wasn't until the middle of shooting that his feelings started to shift, after he realized that his character wasn't just going to be some throwaway joke, but an actual person with character development. He fell deep into the role and he became Alan. If you need any proof, just watch this movie and enjoy the dance sequences. You know the ones. Number 4. Kingsley Ben-Adir. Kingsley has only been in the mainstream acting world since 2020 when he portrayed real-life human rights activist Malcolm X in the film One Night in Miami. Since then, he's been a busy bee, and apart from being casted in the Barbie movie, he recently began portraying the character of Gravik, the Skrull, in the Marvel TV series Secret Invasions. Man, for anyone who doesn't watch Marvel, that's gonna sound like gibberish. Kingsley is playing one of the many Ken variants that will be appearing in this movie. Despite his time on set being minimal compared to that of his fellow Kens, it was anything but ice cream and dance sequences. The entire time he was on set, he only had one thing on his mind. When the heck will this thing be over so I can get back to making more Disney money? The character Gravik is currently still alive and very much kicking in the MCU. Even if his character does get, taken out, that never seems to stick for more than a year or two. He wanted nothing more than to return to the world of Marvel, where he not only plays a supervillain, but spoiler alert to anyone that hasn't watched the show yet, he has all of the superpowers. He became the very first Super Skrull, and Skrulls are people who can shapeshift. You know what? I'm not gonna go on. If you ever just go watch every Marvel project ever so you can understand this 2-minute entry on my list. Basically, the reason he didn't like being on set was because he just couldn't stop thinking about how cool he would look with a tree arm. Number 3. Will Ferrell. Will Ferrell is best known as someone who makes people laugh, and it's rarely because he's the bad guy. Yes, he's been a villain a few times in movies like Zoolander and the Lego Movie, but those characters were outlandish and they were never actually considered to be villainous. His turn as the evil CEO of Mattel has been well received, but fans agree that he's surprisingly good at playing a bad guy. Like, it's suspiciously good. A talent which Will is not proud of. Will is considered to be one of the nicer people to work with in Hollywood, and he tends to bring a solid sense of joy to the set. While he was playing the role of the CEO, he would have to apologize constantly on set for the fear that he may be just too good at faking his evil. His time on set was spent wishing that he could have just played a different character, but I've personally not seen the movie yet, but for all I know, Will Ferrell has the most redemptive arc of the movie. Heck, maybe he even roller skates or something. Maybe he becomes a Ken. We'll just have to wait and see. Number 2. The Mattel President. The COO of the toy giant Mattel, Richard Dixon. Okay, that sounds like a fake name. Richard has been in charge of the company's marketing, development, and strategy teams since the mid-2010s. When the initial offer came for a Barbie movie to be made, Richards wasn't exactly stoked about the idea. Barbie had been a staple in the world of toys and, for some reason, animated kids movies for a very long time. The idea of stripping that down to create some big-budget Hollywood movie didn't sound very appealing at all. When Greta Gerwig delivered the first draft of the script script, his tune seemed to shift. Richard, along with a few other executives, made the decision to go forward on the project, but they would need to keep a close eye on the progression of things. This meant that a man from the company was always on set, monitoring every little move made by the cast and crew. Mattel were on edge the entire time this movie was being made, especially considering that Will Ferrell was playing a fictionalized version of their CEO. This is one of their biggest and most profitable properties to date. A live-action movie, especially one with such star power, will either bring a lot more of that sweet cash through the door, or make the company look like a laughingstock. And at number 1, Margot Robbie. Margot Robbie may be perfect to portray the iconic Barbie doll come to life, but she wasn't very confident throughout filming. Of course, Margot is a stellar actor, and I have personally enjoyed a lot of her work, but there is a lot of pressure on her shoulders as she's taking on a very difficult job. Whenever someone is casted in a pre-existing role, everybody's got an opinion about it. When she was casted as Harley Quinn in 2016, there was a massive debate on whether she could pull it off or not, and they ended up giving her 3 movies. So she pulled it off. This time around, Margot has expressed her nervousness about playing such an iconic character. Barbie is supposed to be a doll that inspires young women to explore their passions and be whatever they want to be. And the mission of the movie is to translate that to screen. So far, the reviews for Barbie are nothing but positive, as it currently sits at a whopping 93% on Rotten Tomatoes. Margot may have spent the majority of her time on set being nervous of her reception from past Barbie owners, but so far this is looking like it's going to be her best performance yet. And those are the celebrities that hated working on the Barbie movie. If you made it to the end of this video, thanks a lot, I hope you enjoyed it. Leave a like on this channel if you had fun, it means a lot to us here at BTS. Thanks for stopping beyond the screen today, have an awesome day, and we'll see you next time.